Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, rel-mar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, at least for the next 21 days. After that, we commence rebroadcasting from brand new studios and corporate offices in Niagara, Ontario, where the show started, going back to, let me see, it had to be 1993. My goodness, that's the X-Zone, but, we've been on air doing many other things since the year. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to say because that'll show you folks how old I am. Oh, what the heck. We go back, my first tour in broadcasting goes back to 1983, so I felt old then and I feel old now sometimes, except when I'm speaking to guests like my guest this hour, a good friend of the X-Zone and mine, Patti Conklin. And Patti grew up, in Brooktondale, New York, with a unique ability to see how the vibration of words and emotions affect the physical body. Through this sight, she began to understand by manipulating the vibration of particles that make up the body, that it could release stored emotion and facilitate healing. And the Conklin method of cellular cleansing was born. After spending her youth learning and perfecting her healing abilities, she began to work with individuals with illnesses ranging from physical to mental and even spiritual. Patti grew up, honing in her private practice with tremendous results, and her reputation grew. More and more and more people sought her out, bringing her into their home for healing. Exciting news about Patti Conklin. She's going to be back with us here on the X Zone Broadcast Network with a brand new show entitled Healing Within. And not only is Patti's show going to be on the X Zone Radio and the X Zone Broadcast Network radio side, but she's also going to have her show on Simul TV where, 207 million people will have the opportunity of tuning in, listening, learning, and, dare I say, healing with our good friend Patti Conklin. Her website, patticonklin.com. And Patti, welcome back to the X Zone.
Thank you so much, Rob. What an honor and pleasure to be back with you.
It's always so great talking to you, Patti. For those listeners who may not have had the opportunity of hearing you in the past, tell us a little bit more about yourself and how the healing, those in need, came into your life, and how you developed the Conklin method of cellular cleansing.
Yeah, great question. Thank you for asking it. I've been sighted all my life, and what I mean by sighted is not so much a feeling or anything like that. It's really been particles, just like an MRI. If you're looking at an MRI, that's how I see the body, and I see my world in gray tone. So it was an ability that I was born with, but I never really understood I was different from other people until my early 20s, and then really began understanding the uniqueness of the ability to be a, quote, human MRI, which is how scientists refer to me. But, people tend to think, because I love quantum physics and I love particle theory, because I think it makes up us,
right.
They think that I don't have a spiritual side. And it's like, no. My job is to teach quantum physics to metaphysics. And how do we take science and understand it through spirituality, and how do we take spirituality and understand it through science? Because I think they go hand in hand. So my whole healing process of cellular cleansing and so forth was to go in and manipulate the particles that were blocking the energy field within the body, allowing disease and so forth to leave the body, to get a strong energy field going so that it would overcome the disease.
Now, Patti, I understand. I'm sorry. Go ahead, dear.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say.
Yeah,
ladies first.
We're both so used to doing shows here. It's so easy, and yet we want to make it complex, and it's not. It really isn't.
I've had a favorite saying from many years: life is simple. We complicate it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now, Patti, I understand you were given.
If we understood that every word we're saying is going into the body, we'd change how we speak.
So is it fair to say that the body absorbs everything and anything around us?
The body absorbs everything and anything you say.
Wow.
The body is incredibly literal. You make the decision as to whether something external will affect you.
Gotcha.
That's totally your decision. But your body's literal to everything you think and say. But whether or not, I always say that if the body's pure, you could walk through a radiation field and not be affected. If you don't have the belief that you're going to be affected, in working 66 countries in the last, 22, 23 years, Delta and I have dated close to 3 million miles. And people always say, how do you not get sick? You're on the airplane constantly. Mm-hmm. And my response is, why would I have a belief that I'd get sick? Just because somebody next to me has the flu and is clearly sick doesn't mean that I'm going to get sick. It means they've got some emotions they need to work through.
Gotcha.
Plain and simple. Yeah.
Now, I understand that you were given an outline for your life, and your greatest work would be between 42 and 62 years of age. Now, you've just celebrated your 62nd birthday. Where do you see things going from here, Patti?
Wow. It's been kind of a tough year heading up to that 62 because I was really planning on dying. So
say it isn't
I didn't have much planned after 62. But I had a prophetic dream Easter Eve and was shown that I wasn't going to be dying. And so from Easter until my birthday last month, I was sitting going, what are you doing now?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? And one of my good friends said, you know what's awesome is, you know, if you were instructed that 42 to 62 would be your greatest contribution to humanity, now you can work when you choose. You can do the things that you want to do or don't want to do, but you don't have that psychological pressure, either, you know, psychosomatic or whatever, but you don't have that pressure sitting on your shoulders now that you're 62. You can play, you can work, you can do things instead of this absolute push, grind, 80, 100-hour weeks of working with people around the world, which I did for a solid 20 years. So life really, Rob, it's starting to be fun.
As it very well should be.
A few short weeks.
Well, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Now, I know you've also been working on I know you've also been working on a new book, Enabling the Labeling. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, enabling the labeling. One thing that I've really recognized through the years is how science and doctors and so forth will give a patient a label, and all of a sudden they buy into it. And they start doing everything the doctor says. And, you know, it's not that we shouldn't listen. It's that we start limiting ourselves, and especially with children. When children are giving a diagnosis by a physician, I'll see the parents doing, you know, let's say, you know, 4 days of physical therapy and 2 days of nutritional therapy and so on. And it's like, when do they get to be a kid?
Yeah.
You know, you've so bought into the label. When do they get to be a child? And so what I found is if I can get the parents out of the label of a child and let the child be a child and still take care of their physical needs, the child grows so much faster, gets better faster, and learns to cope with life given their circumstances. But it's the same with, you know, a person who's been, let's say, given the title of a label of a fibromyalgia.
Right.
Fibromyalgia is the inability to set boundaries. I don't care what country I'm in. It's the inability to set boundaries. But all of a sudden, it's like, I've got this unknown disease. It's flaring up today. And it gives us an out. It gives us an out to not participate in life. And so I really want to kind of bring it to people's attention. Enabling the labeling means that we are choosing to give ourselves an out and not take personal responsibility for our life because we've got a label.
Speaking about taking time, you and I have to take our first commercial break, and great having you back with us, Patti. And I'm so excited that I'm going to be around, and I'm going to be able to see what happens from 62 on, way on into the future. Stand by, Patti. Exo Nation. So. Our friend Patti Conklin is our guest. Her website is www.patticonklin.com. Don't forget, X-Zone Nation, you can listen to the X-Zone Broadcast Network 724-365 by going to www.xzbn. Check out the broadcast schedule. And for all of you who are TiVaholics, we're on Simul TV 724-365. We have 5 channels there. All you need to do is go to simultv.com. There's a search engine on the top of the page. Put the alphabet X in there, and it'll bring you right to the X-Zone TV channel. Check us out today. Patti Conklin is my guest. We'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Patti Conklin is my special guest of this hour, www.patticonklin.com. Patti, before we were talking about, you were telling us about children, and I have a question for you. With all the stress, the pressure, as well as the lack of communication between parents and children now, I know they communicate. They communicate through the iPhone, the messenger, the computer, but I mean the good old-fashioned communication that you and I had when we were kids. You'd sit down at supper and Mom and Dad would talk to you without having a little handheld device, or you'd went out to a restaurant and you actually enjoyed each other's company. How is this affecting the children of today? And have we come to the point of no return yet?
I don't think we've come to the point of no return. I think that we will cycle back around where the generation of children now, when they have children, they'll be back to the dinner table and enjoying each other again. I think that it's that full circle in terms of technology.
Right.
I think that technology can be incredibly helpful, but you also have to have that family time where there's no devices. And I'm seeing more and more parents, and I'm encouraging more and more parents that, the device goes off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and through dinner in the evening is family time. And, if they need it, because a lot of schools now, homework is done in school on computers.
Right.
And they're not even doing homework at night. And so, it's interesting watching them. It's in some ways the technology can be incredibly helpful for them, and yet sometimes it's about getting back to their same old of just being a child and going out and playing. Children of today are not allowed to build mud pits like you and I were when we were kids.
Yeah.
Wait for it to rain and go jumping in them. So I think it's just really important for parents to really be aware of technology can be fun and it can be useful. We as a family are Pokemon nuts, so the grandkids love it when I'll play Pokemon with them on our phones.
Right.
But we also have a lot of time where we're snuggling or in the pool or just having family time. It's important.
It certainly is. I often wonder if the technology of today is going to, or is actually dumbing down the future of tomorrow.
I've thought about the same thing, and I work with so many children, and all I can really, in watching my grandchildren, the 2 6-year-old boys are 50 days apart, and one is a wordsmith, and at 6 years old he's already reading 3rd grade level. And you can just give him the menu at a restaurant, and he'll read you the menu.
Wow.
And he plays his Pokemon, whatever, but he's encouraged to read books. And I remember them losing a dog last month, old age. And he's like, Oma, I need to ask you something. And I'm like, what? And he's like, why did my parents get me a book called what happens when loved one dies. Like, I don't know what happens when he dies.
God bless
I just
him.
thought that was weird. And I just started laughing because he's the one calling it weird. And the other 6-year-old is a mathematician. And my son sent me because he's giving them homework, because in first grade they're not doing math homework. He's already multiplying and dividing and knows what a double negative is. And he doesn't sit and count on his fingers or whatever. And one day he looked at me and he's like, Oma, and this was before I turned 62. I was 61. He's like, I'm 6 and you're 61. That means it's going to take me 55 years to get to where you are.
Unbelievable, Patti.
I started cracking up.
Unbelievable.
But so the parents are sitting with them individually, because the schools haven't taken them that far yet,
Right.
and encouraging that. So they're creating a good balance, because the kids do love their technology.
Sure.
But they're like, no, it's swimming pool time, it's dinner time, it's no, we're in a restaurant, and you cannot have your tablet, or whatever. This is our time to socialize, and we're here in the South, so it's the yes ma'am and the no sir, and
That's right.
and I think that kids across, but it's a little scary, Rob, when you see so many parents just give the technology and not have any accountability. It's their way of escaping being parents. And children are getting into areas on the internet that they shouldn't be going, my opinion. So I think that we're in for, another 10 or 15 years of kind of rough, violent behavior, kids that are going to become introverts and so forth. But I think as they cycle through into adulthood, you'll see some of the things that they missed while they were growing up come back around, and it's why grandparents are important.
My executive producer just popped her head in, and she was listening on the other side of the glass with Craig, and she came up with the perfect reason why kids don't play in mud pits anymore. Because when you and I were kids, a pair of running shoes and a pair of jeans and a shirt would cost maybe $3-4. Today, kids run around with designer brand running shoes that are $300-400.
That is so true. And why are we doing that? I mean, why are we doing that?
Modern technology. Technology is brainwashing our kids.
It is. When it really comes back to the bottom line, in my mind,
right?
Communication is one of the best things we have on the planet, and it's also our curse on the planet, because when something happens, 2 seconds later, everybody in the world knows about it.
But that's going to backfire, because what happens if there's another solar flare? The power grids go down. And what are the kids going to do? Because they don't have their handheld devices. They don't know how to write anymore. Gosh, have you seen the way kids write? What's going to happen?
They don't know. I agree. It's gonna bite us in the butt. I've got one set of kids that are free range parents, and the other ones are more
structured.
But they each have their bug out bags.
Sure.
And the children are being taught these are the bug out bags. They go camping with all the kids.
That's
and
wonderful.
They're like, this is how you camp. This is how you get fresh water. This is how you fish. Because they're not convinced that we're not going to need that at some point. Or solar flares that are going to take out communication. So, I think that as much as we love communication, and you and I, we're in the communication business.
That's right, yeah.
However, we have to learn the basics. And I think that we're missing that tremendously. When parents are working so many hours to, bring home the bacon, make sure there's money so they can buy $400 shoes instead of going down the street, buying at a local store and buying something, pair of shoes for $10. Okay, it only lasts them, 2 months because they're jumping in mud puddles.
Right.
But you know what? That's how we learn, by doing.
That's right.
And I think technology, like I said, I think in some cases technology can be a wonderful thing. However, like you said, with solar flares, with good Lord, I mean the
list goes on.
It's endless, isn't it? And the list goes on and on. about what could happen to our communication ability.
Right.
And if children aren't taught, you're going to have hysterical people in the streets because they don't know how to handle things. They don't know what to do. And people really should be alert, and they really should be aware with their children or grandchildren or nieces or nephew. I mean, if you grew up knowing that, we had to do our bomb drills when, I was in elementary school.
Same here.
But by golly, I also knew how, my brother would lower me down into our open, spring well to get out a dead animal. I mean, we could do it all.
That's right.
And the kids of today are bless them. They're smart and they're growing fast, but you've got to balance it out. But are the life is about?
But are the kids smarter? Is it the technology they use that make them smart?
I think it's I think it's two things. I think it's in the old days. I know when I was growing up, I mean, we still had crank phone calls, crank phones, not crank phone calls, but crank phones.
The crank phone on the side,
too short and too long. Yep, the crank on the side.
Good old party line.
I have that put on my gravestone because my kids are like, huh? I'm gonna have a picture of that old crank phone put on. But the thing was that we understood that but our parents did not sit down and teach.
Oh no!
My generation, I sat down with my children and taught. Their generation, they're attempting to do the blend of technology so that they can kind of stay with their friends and games and so forth, but also getting back to the basics of balance. Because I think that's what's really shifting in this world, Rob. And for our bodies to be healthy, we need to be in balance.
I agree.
And when we're out of balance, our body gets unhealthy.
Yeah.
And so, our mind has to be in balance. And that means you need to know the basics. You need to know how to take care of yourself in an emergency and not depend on your smartphone to pick up and tell you what to do.
Well,
you're calling Siri to say, what do I do?
Yeah, hello, Google. Hey, Google. Hey, where are you?
Exactly.
Listen, you and I have to take our break for the news at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by. Oh, geez, look at that. I said, hey, Google, and the one in the studio said, what can I do for you? Oh, unreal. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. When we come back, Patty, I'd like to talk to you about your monthly retreat for people. That's more when we come back with our very special guest this hour, the one and only Patti Conklin. Her website is www.patticonklin.com. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. For all the information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit www.xzbn.net. And for Simul TV, the X Zone TV channel, it's very simple. simultv.com. We'll be back on the other side of this break with the news. Don't go away.
Path Home Shamanic Art School proudly presents the Gathering of Shaman 2019 Fall Retreat, Manifestation Samhain. Join me, certified shamanic instructor Gwilda Wiyaka, in the magnificent Colorado Mountains this November 2nd and 3rd for a life-changing event. Participate in unique teachings and ceremonies that'll put the power and magic of shamanic manifestation into your hands. Sit in circle with like-minded individuals, sharing group energy and the power it generates. Classes will be held in a facility next to the beautiful, majestic Arkansas River, further empowering the experience. Space is limited, so reserve your spot today. For more information, visit findyourpathhome.com or email touchin@findyourpathhome.com.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light. And welcome back, everyone. Patti Conklin is my special guest, www.patticonklin.com. Patti, tell us about your monthly retreat for people.
Wow, we are just starting this, Rob, and I'm really excited about it. You know, last year was my first year off the road when I decided that I was no longer going to travel the world. I was going to stay home and see what that felt like. And so it's been a year, and I have always lived on water. I'm sure you remember so many shows from wherever I was. And I had bought this house because the little ones were about 3 years old, and my daughter-in-laws were getting nervous about them falling off the houseboat. So I bought this old farmhouse, and I had it remodeled. But I had it remodeled so that when I pass away, it can be used either as a homeless shelter, or my sons could let 2 or 3 small families live in here because it's huge and set out for 3 families, free of rent for a year as our gift to continue on after I pass. And so, not dying, still being here, I decided, you know, this house really is for people to come into. So we're going to allow 8 people each month to come in. And I'm really, it's not set up for critically ill people. That's not what we're going to be doing. It's people who really want to talk about life, what's going on in their life, issues, you know, diseases, but nothing critical. And a retreat-like setting. It's really a beautiful place because when I had it designed, I don't have these kind of tastes. I would prefer a log cabin next to a stream. But what I wanted people to understand, because, you know, through my history, I lived on the streets from the time I was 12 until I graduated from high school when I was 15. And one of the things that I wanted to be able to give back to people, especially homeless people or people that were having problems financially in their life, was that they could have beauty. And so this house is breathtaking and beautiful inside. And so we decided we were going to let 8 people a month come in on a Friday night, spend Saturday, 3 o'clock Sunday is end time, and just chill out, get in the resistant swim spa, sit and talk as a group, and just relax. And sometimes I suspect people will want to come just to be able to get away or be in the energy of this space. And sometimes they may be going through an emotional issue and just really wanting some feedback. And having somebody here as a buffer for me if I need to go lay down for a little bit and kind of get away from the group because I'm not used to it. But we're so excited to be able to offer it to people, to be able to have the retreat because it's be wonderful food and a wonderful time together. And They can go in the infrared sauna and go into the meditation room and have quiet if they want, or just socialize out in the kitchen. The breakfast bar holds 10 people. And so I think it's just going to be a lot of fun and something that I wanted to invite people into my home. People have invited me into their homes for over 20 years now, and I wanted to be able to return the favor. So it's something new. It's something we're really excited about. It happens every single month.
That is fantastic, Patti. You've done so much for so many over the years, more than anyone who really doesn't know who Patti Conklin really is and the fantastic heart that she has. Patti, my hat is off to you. I've known you for all these years. You were one of my very first guests when the show started way back when. I've been fortunate enough to keep track of you and chat with you both on and off air. Mm-hmm. For those people that do not have the ability or the privilege to talk to you like I'm talking to you tonight, thank you from them. You've done so much for so many. In your opinion, Patti, what has been the pinnacle of your career thus far?
Oh, wow. Wow, the pinnacle of my career. One of the things that stands out to me, and you and I actually did a show during this time period. You were doing a live show, and I was in Istanbul. I don't know if you remember this. And your guest at the last minute had to back out, and you were live. And so you called me, and I said, give me 10 minutes. And you're like, 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh, I need to wake up. And you're like, what? I'm like, I'm in Istanbul. Yes. Give me a few minutes. And you're like, no, I'll call somebody else. I'm like, no, I'll be on.
Oh, my gosh.
But it was during that trip, Rob, that I was going back and forth and teaching at a cardiology hospital there. And there was an old man sitting beside the road every day in 100-degree heat sewing leather books. And I had my driver stop one day, and so I could go sit with him. And he spoke a little bit of English, and he looked at me and he said, "You Christian?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "I'm Muslim." And I'm like, "Yes, you are." And he said, "You're Noah of your Bible. His ark came to rest on our sacred mountain." And I said, "That's what archaeologists believe, that it's on Mount Ararat here in Turkey." And he smiled the biggest smile. And he said, "You and me, we brother and sister." And I just, that has stood out to me through all the years. He was 90 years old, homeless. And so when I got ready to leave Istanbul on that trip, I went down to an apartment complex that was down the highway a little bit. And I rented him an apartment for a year and left money for him to live and to be able to sleep in, because I knew he wasn't going to last much longer. But I wanted him to have a home, tiny little place, nothing huge. But that stood out to me probably more than, yes, there's beautiful, stories of children who were in stage 4s that, came back and are healthy children today, healthy adults today. But he really stood out to me because he was 90 years old and he was sitting by the side of the road sewing journals, leather-bound journals to sell, to live. And yet was so gracious and so caring and so loving. And I loved his attitude. You and me, we're brother and sister. And that, that's the pinnacle. It's not this fantastic, healing thing. It's a blessing when you see miracles happen, when doctors are saying, you've got 2 weeks to live and the miracle takes place and they all of a sudden are healed. And the children, one little boy, he was 4 years old and he had a rare mouth cancer. And they didn't think he'd make it. And I saw him in person, and I put energy into a towel so that they can keep the towel when I'm gone. And it's good for about 10 days. And I'm putting energy into it. And he looks at me, he's 4 years old, and he's like, "Miss Patti, I think you just put a little too much blue in there." And I just looked at him, and blue was the color coming out of my finger. And I said, "Well, what do we do?" And he just dipped his finger into the towel, and he pulled out a little tiny bit. He had the energy on the tip of his finger, and he pulled it right out. And he's like, "That'll be good. That'll keep the monsters out of my room." And I said, well, that's good. And he holds a towel and he looks at me and he's like, that's not very fair. Monsters are people too. The least I could do is invite them to my birthday party.
Monsters are people too.
That's wonderful.
Wow.
Monsters are people too. And so,
out of the mouth of babes.
You've got a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old that are just totally open and totally wise. And those are two of my two favorite people and favorite stories to retell, because it doesn't matter where I went in the world. There were just always just miraculous people that you just see walking down the street. And I love that aspect of my world travel. And, you feel like you can't take anymore. You feel like you're exhausted and you just want to get home and you want to get in your own bed and just have some quiet. And then something like that happens and like you're geared up. You're ready to go again.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Patti, I've got a philosophy, one of my many philosophies that I try to incorporate each and every day in my life, is that everyone should have what I call the Christmas spirit 365. Because, as we get to Christmas, people go deeper in their pockets. They go to they go into their closets and their cupboards and they get stuff out for people who are less fortunate. There's that little zing in the air where angels are real. The spirit of love and Christmas is real. And then come the 26th of December and it's gone.
Oh, I know it.
Why can't we should bottle, Patti? You and I are two very imaginative people. Why don't we create something called Christmas Spirit in a Can? Where no matter where you are, you just
do that. I am so on board with you.
Yeah.
I am so on board with you, and I don't do Christmas. The daughter-in-laws have been freaking out because they're major Christmas people. I'm like, give me a picture of the babies. That's
exactly.
it. You give me
exactly.
anything more, and I'm not going to take it. Nor do I give what we do at Christmas. What I do for my sons and my daughter-in-laws is you give me a charity you would like me to donate to, or an orphanage. That's my present to you. But we live it 24/7. And son Dan a few years ago had said, "Hey, I got a phone call from a guy that I worked with 10 years ago.
Right.
His father-in-law died. He was an Army vet. They're trying to pull enough money together for a funeral." And he's asked if we could give $250. Could I take that out of the foundation? And I'm like, no, you can't. You can call him and ask him how much the funeral is, and you cut a check. And he's like, it'll probably be $12,000. And I'm like, so you cut a check for $12,000. No, we're not going to make this family through their souring, sorrowful times to have to call people to get enough money together.
Patti, I hate to do this at this pivotal time. We're
going on break.
We have to, my dear.
Yes, we are. Yep.
What a fantastic story from a fantastic lady. Patti Conklin is my guest this hour, Exonation, and we're going to tell you on the other side of this break how you can listen to Patti on the Exxon Broadcast Network as she brings her show, Healing Within, back to the Exxon. I'm Rob McConnell. We're going to be back on the other side of the short break, so don't go away.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by rel-mar, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to rel-marzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world, interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Welcome back, everyone. Patti Conklin is my special guest, www.patticonklin.com. First of all, Patti, I want to thank you ever so much for joining us, and we are so looking forward to having you back here on the X-Zone, not only on the X-Zone broadcast network with your radio show Healing Within, but also on the X-Zone TV channel, because I know that you're going to be making positive changes and touching people and just bringing a whole new light and bringing the media to where it should be, to where people reach out and touch people and make a positive difference in the lives of others. So thank you, and wow, this is exciting.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of things and to do the radio show and the TV show. I'm so psyched about it because I do enjoy connecting with people, and you have built such a wonderful platform over the years, and I just appreciate you allowing me to be part of that. It's going to be exciting.
It is. It
always has been exciting. Every show we do has always been great. So
thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Patti.
Thank you.
You've trained a select few practitioners around the world to facilitate cellular cleansing. How do you select who is going to be part of your legacy and who isn't?
Oh, good question. I think there's only been 4 people in the last 15 years that I have refused to teach, that I just did not feel, not because they didn't have gifts, but they didn't have the right mindset in my mind. They were very much about how much money could they make, what were they going to be bringing in, and focus on that versus how can I increase my gift and help as many people as I can. Let's face it, we all have to make a living. Yes. Nothing wrong with that. But it's how much do we give back? So there's usually very few. And what happens is I'll do webinars every month, and folks will have workshops or workbooks with the webinars, and we'll be going to be doing more of that, and especially with the TV broadcast. But people tend to start taking classes, and I watch them along the way. Which classes are they picking out? How are they excelling in each class in terms of their own gift? They're not going to be a mini me. I don't want them to be a mini me. I want them to develop their own gift. And as I watch them, they're usually the ones that will want to be a practitioner of Cellular Cleanse and take that major course, because that's a hardcore course, and I require a lot over the 6 months after the course in terms of their gifting, their ability to excel and utilize their gifts. So, I'm really watching them. How much is their heart really into it? Because you and I both know there's lots of practitioners out there.
Yes, there are.
And practitioners who, some are very good, and some feel like they work on themselves for, a month out of the year, and that's all they need to do. And as you and I both know, it's an everyday thing. I don't care how much of a practitioner you are. We have to work on ourselves every day. And so those are the qualities that I'm looking for, are the ones who, my coin phrase is, I'll forever be an embryo. And I will, because the more I know nothing. And and it humbles you. Yeah. And helps you understand that the realms of the world out there you will never understand. And if you think you know, then you're an ego.
Exactly.
And so, so I think it's just watching those people, because there's only, in the 22 years I've been teaching cellular cleansing, so folks can use it with their own clients, there's only 40 in the world. And they're in other countries and here in the U.S., but there's only 40 that have taken the training. So I kind of watched them go through the hoops of the different classes. Yeah.
So tell me, what do our listeners and viewers have to look forward to with Healing Within on the X-Zone Broadcast Network as well as on the X-Zone TV channel?
Oh, wow. I would like to not only bring in, vibrational medicine or, how to increase your intuition or how to live your life in balance or how to get out of judgment or enabling the labeling. I mean, those are all areas that I think are important. But I want to challenge people, Rob, and maybe that sounds weird coming from a practitioner, but I want people to be challenged to take personal responsibility for themselves.
Bingo.
And I think that some of the shows are really going to be, are you walking in a personal responsibility space, or are you blaming someone else? Life is about, taking your steps every day and taking personal responsibility for what's happening and not blaming others. And, that difference between judgment and discernment, and really helping people understand the difference. Judgment means that we have an emotional attachment, even if it's love, it's an emotional attachment or an expectation of the end result. And discernment means that, hey, you're my equal soul. I'm walking a different path than you, but I wish you all the best. And just staying neutral. So it's staying in a place of serenity. And people think they're out of judgment when the reality is we've become a very judgmental world. And I want people to get back to, I'm a person and you're a person. And I don't care what your political affliction is, and I don't care what you do for a living. You are my equal. And we've become too, it's when we travel in other countries and we see the major difference between the wealthy and the poor. Yeah. And so many countries, there was a beautiful little cabin overlooking the bluffs in Brazil, in Bahia, that I wanted to get. And I thought, oh, this is perfect. It's not very much money and blah, blah, blah. And as I got ready to buy that little cottage overlooking the bluff of the ocean, I realized that if I bought that place, I would become one of the wealthy. And because there is no middle class. And I didn't buy it because I couldn't live with myself. And so I think that we really need to get back to, we're just people. And we need to respect each other as such. And I don't care about any of the other external stuff. And I think people don't take personal responsibility, because I'll say it one more time. Life is meaningless. It's absolutely meaningless. When we were given life by whoever, whatever, I don't care what your belief system is. But when we came into being, we were not given emotion to that being.
Mm-hmm.
It's meaningless. So every single moment of your life, you are the one choosing whether or not you like it or dislike it. You're happy, you're sad, you're whatever. You're the one making that choice. And so I really want to, I hope, help people understand that they have choice from moment to moment. The choice is theirs as to how they're going to live their life, and to challenge them on how they are choosing to live it. And that's not saying that I live my life perfectly, because none of us are, but I'm consciously aware from moment to moment the decisions that I make.
It seems that people forget that and this is my opinion, Patti, that the answer to all one's problems lie on the person that you see in the mirror. That the problems are within you. I'm sorry, the answers are within you, because that's where the problem lies. Yeah. And I've heard a lot of these, I don't know what you call them, but mentors or New Age gurus. They're always kind of taking the people and getting them to look everywhere else for the answer except in themselves.
Right, except for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, there's not one soul walking this earth, Rob, that can make you angry. And there's not one soul that can make you feel love. Those are emotions that you choose. Now, can you make a different choice? Of course you can. Yeah. But the problem is that if you've got a frustration coming up, it's something inside of you. And so it means sitting down, journaling, writing down how you're feeling, because that person didn't make you upset. There was something that was triggered, a memory. Remember, we store all of our words. Something inside of you that surfaced and said, I can relate to that. Yeah, it's important. It's so important. I see that as part of my mission for these however many years I've got left, is to really work with that, not only for myself, but to help others understand it as well.
Patti, you and I have to say goodnight for now, but you and I will be talking over the weeks and the many, 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 many years to come. Quickly, Patti, tell our listeners how they can learn more about you and how they can participate in some of the wonderful lectures and workshops and retreats that you have coming up.
Beautiful. They can go to the website, patticonklin.com, and that's PattiConklin.com. They can call Sandra at the office at 404-474-0086. And we'll be having information up real soon. I know that we're going to be doing some TV shows with you on, is it Simul TV?
Simul TV on the X-Zone, yeah.
Yep. And doing the radio show, so they'll be on the front page of our website. And we'll be also, Facebook is Patti Conklin Inc., as is Twitter. And just, Google Patti Conklin. It's 20 some years plus.
My gosh.
There's lots of stuff up there.
Patti, I want to thank you.
Love to have and be in contact.
I look forward to continuing our destiny together, my dear friend. Thank you so much for all the wonderful things that you do. Thank you for touching all the hearts that you do, and I look forward to the next time you and I chat, either on air or off air. So from everyone here to you, your staff, and your family, blessings.
Blessings. Thank you, Rob.
All right, X-Zone Nation, I'll be back on the other side of this news break from the Canadian News Network as the X-Zone continues. Not only here in Ontario, not all throughout the United States, but around the world on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. I'm Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
How would your life change if you could develop the business and personal skills that you need in order to make more money? Do you want to learn how to achieve your big life goals faster? Then go to findhiddenmoney.com and get the Goal for It online course. The course teaches you how you can set and achieve your biggest goals while completely overcoming the roadblocks to your goals so that you can realize your dreams and imagine more success. Go to findhiddenmoney.com.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hides' life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.